To make my pumpkin stack, I purchased this bucket from the Dollar Tree, as well as these 2 bags of rocks, the wooden dowel I found at Lowe's, and the 3 foam pumpkins I found at Hobby Lobby for 50% off. Additional tools that I used were a handsaw, some scissors, a Sharpie marker, and then a drill with a 1/2 inch drill bit. So I'm going to take this bucket and remove the wire handle. And once you get a good grip on it, it pops right off. Super easy to take off. And then the little lip on the bucket is going to be faced toward the back, so you don't have to worry about that showing. And then just place it on your work surface. These are the rocks that I used. I grabbed 4 bags, 2 for each pumpkin stack, to use as a weight for the bucket itself and for the dowel so that the dowel could stand in there sturdy. The dowel I used was an oak dowel measuring 5/8 by 36. And you can go ahead and place that in your bucket, making sure that it's center and that you're wrapping the bags of rocks around the dowel so that it can be sturdy on its own before we assemble our pumpkins. Then you're going to grab your bottom pumpkin, your base, and you can remove the tags and also twist off the stem of your pumpkin. The pumpkins I purchased have this type of skin on the outer layer that when you pull the stem up, it can pull away from the pumpkin itself. So I wanted to be careful not to, as I was twisting, pull off the pretty color. So I'm using scissors to just cut around the base of the stem to make sure that I'm not peeling anything besides that center of the pumpkin. And the mess begins because it's made out of styrofoam. You're going to get little fuzzies. Then you repeat that process with your second pumpkin. That pumpkin didn't give me as big a trouble as the base. Your top pumpkin, you're going to leave that stem on since you want people to see that it is a cute little pumpkin. Now to drill, for the bottom pumpkin, I'm going right in the center, and at a very slow speed, I am drilling my hole. The dowel that I have is wider than the drill bit, but I didn't find it to be problematic. It just kind of shapes around the dowel. So if you also don't have as wide of a drill bit, it works perfectly fine. So I'm just drilling all the way through the pumpkin and then releasing. And then for the topmost pumpkin, I just drilled about halfway through the pumpkin because I don't want to pop the stem out of this pumpkin. Now I'm grabbing my dowel and fitting it through the first pumpkin, just pushing it all the way through, flipping it over, and pushing the pumpkin further down the dowel. And then I'm going to repeat that with the second pumpkin, pushing it through the bottom, and then flipping it and pushing it down to meet the other pumpkin. And then I'm centering and pushing down the first 2 pumpkins into the bucket. Now for the top pumpkin, I'm lining it up with the dowel and resting it on top of the pumpkin beneath it, and using my marker, I'm going to mark the spot on the dowel where I need to cut it because I don't want the dowel to go through my top pumpkin. When you saw your dowel with your handsaw, or if you have a quicker tool, that would work best. The first time I did this, I had a second person helping me and a sturdier tabletop. This I did on a bucket by myself, which I wouldn't recommend, but it did work, and I just broke it in half once it got towards the end. Then you rearrange your newly cut dowel and pumpkins into the bucket. Making sure that the rocks are secure as well. And then you can just place your top pumpkin on. This was the mess that I made. It wasn't too bad, but there's quite a bit of styrofoam, so I'm just gonna clean this up.